Welcome back to Kingdom Cast. This is your host, Super Champ Chuck. We back at it with another episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share all your social media platforms. This is the post game show. Chiefs gone ahead and go to 3-1 last night. Caught a little turbulence after the fast start, but they got the dub. They won 23-20 over the Jets. A Jets team that didn't quit. They didn't give up. So give them props for that. And they still got some talent on the team. It's gonna be some growing pains for them throughout the year. But anyway, let's go and introduce the guys here. My guy Country's on the top right. My guy Boogie's on the bottom of the screen. How y'all feelings doing, man?
Man, I mean, I hate to be on here talking about a loss, man. It's just crazy, bro. Like, I can't believe we lost that game.
Are you saying that in a rhetorical way, or
We lost, right? I mean, the way I seen everybody talking, I thought we didn't lose that game.
nah? I mean, looking at the scoreboard, it said us 23, them 20.
You kidding me? That's crazy.
No, not at all. Boogie, I know you got a lot to say. I know you got a lot to say today.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a good game. I thought it was Mahomes had one of those games. So yeah, I'm cool though. Of course, we got to win them ugly wins, but man, it's some glaring things in that win. I thought.
I'm glad that our quarterback can have a bad game and we can still win the game because apparently that's not true across the league.
Yeah, it's very rare. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's go and get to it, man. Okay, so the first quarter, man, like the offense was still humming from last game. Isiah Pacheco had a nice little homecoming game for himself. Had just over 150 yards total offense in a tutty. Scored the first tutty. Got the rock out in the end zone. And then, on the second touchdown after Bucker kicked the field goal, Noah Gray scored the second one. Everybody expected Travis Kelce to score, but psych, when everybody's on something, it goes the other way most of the time. So Noah Gray had a nice game himself. But after that, man, the second quarter, that's when things got a little turbulent. Now, they called a safety, but here's the thing. I don't understand these rules, man. It feels like the refs are just making up stuff as they go because they said since Jawan Taylor didn't tug the face mask, that's not where the penalty was at. So he didn't tug it till the defense end finally got in the end zone. And then that's when they called the safety, which makes no sense. Like, you can't put your hands on a face mask at all. Like, you can't grab it at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I didn't understand that one because it happened at the 1 yard line. But anywho, after that, that's when Patrick Mahomes was making it interesting for TV. Because, like, if you guys remember, during the match when he played with Travis Kelce against the Splash Brothers of the Warriors with Steph and Clay, he said right before that match, he said, "Look, I think it's gonna be a close. I think it's gonna be a close match. I may make it interesting for TV. It's gonna go down to the wire, but we're gonna win at the end with a birdie and stuff." This felt like that type of game for Patrick. All of a sudden he just made it interesting for TV. I mean, I don't understand what he was thinking. He forced the issue. He was throwing off his back foot. It was just unusual stuff from Patrick. So that's just some of the things I saw early on. I mean, what y'all think about the early part of the game?
It became like a coaching clinic, like in the second quarter, where Chris Collinsworth was like coaching Zach Wilson through the game and just reaching out and encouraging them and giving them Capri Suns and rubbing his shoulders on the sidelines and telling them how good he was. You know what I'm saying? It's like I appreciate it, and we gave him a life. We gave him life. We gave them life and confidence. Let's see where they go with it. They took advantage of it. I respect it. Zach Wilson played the best game that he's played this season, clearly,
Yeah.
and it was only for a quarter. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not panicking. It's the defense. They let him back in the game. They gave him some life. They gave him some confidence. And then when it was time to shut him down, they shut him down. And that's regardless of how you think the calls went and who's biased and who rigged and the script got leaked. It was like, well, it was scripted that he had a career renaissance in the second quarter. That ain't in. Is that in the script too? Like, people think the script only benefit us when the whole league is supposedly scripted. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, Zach Wilson, he had a hell of a game. He did have a hell of a game, a hell of a quarter. That's really what it was. That's the difference. You take the second quarter out, that game ain't even close. But um, shout out to hey, bro. A lot of people, I don't know what it is, but the Jets do have a great defense.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know if people like not knowing that they don't. You're not familiar with the Jets. They don't have no celebrities at their game, or I don't know, but they do have a great defense, and they showed that they play like a great defense. They had the corners out there going crazy. C.J. Mosley was having a game.
Quincy
Quentin Williams
Williams.
just got paid. He's not a bum. It's not. They don't have a bum ass defense, bro. They made them step their game up, and this is something that we touched on last episode. We got to have fun in Chicago. It wasn't gonna be fun this week because they got a defense. We touched on that last week, and Pat was feeling himself. I mean, when you put up 17 quick ones, of course you're gonna feel yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then he got a little sloppy, and then he had to bring it back. So we gave
Definitely.
them life. We gave them confidence. They answered the call. They got back in the game, and then the defense was like, "Oh, all right, we done with that." So here's the question, though: are we a defensive team now?
I'm not ready to say all that just yet, but just by the looks of it, yeah, it look like defense is playing better than the offense. You know what I'm saying? My
Clearly,
thing with Patrick Field himself is this: like, yes, the Bears game last week. That's how you're supposed to take care of your opponent. But I don't know. I feel like the storylines in that game might help them just take that a little more serious. With this game last night, it looked like they was carrying on, taking it serious then. But then all of a sudden, I just don't know. I don't get it, man. Like sometimes we just a little too arrogant with how we approach the game at times. Like that fast start, guys was thinking, oh man, it's gonna be easy work. It should be no problem. And all of a sudden, the Jets came to life and they didn't quit. You know what I'm saying? Like my thing is this: you can't you can't fold and you can't lose focus at any moment against any NFL team. I don't care how bad or how good they may be. That's just my thing with the Chiefs. Sometimes, we too good for our own good at times. I know we won two Super Bowls with Patrick so far, but there's gonna be a day where if we get a little too arrogant at the wrong time, it's gonna bite us in the ass.
this is
That's me.
this is the concern, and I'm sorry to jump ahead of you, Boogie, but this is the concern we had last week. Are they going to play down to Chicago, or are they going to just take them to the woodshed? We actually had both in this game. Like they took them to the woodshed early, and right when we was about to hit them with that last good one, they got out of it. They made a fight for it and made it competitive. But I mean, in the end, we still finished the job. But we gave them life. They took advantage of it. I don't know.
Yeah, and go ahead, Boogie. You ain't saying in a minute.
Yeah, my bad.
Well,
Yeah,
I thought the start, I thought, of course, we got on them early, but then I think we always talk about country, always talk about petty Mahomes, man. We got to talk about bored Mahomes because he seemed like we just got up 17 and he got bored and was like, I'm gonna just try to just throw it like he was doing touch passes, like it was them passes was crazy he was throwing. I really think he just got he like you said he just lost focus for a minute. He made some crazy throws. But also, I think, man, we got to have that conversation about Jawan Taylor, man. Well, it's time to start having that conversation. I know y'all, and I've said it too. The league definitely uh, had an extra eye on him about that lining up. But come on, man, we got a penalty or two from him every game. Like, are we sure he's better than Wiley? I know we gonna do the pro football focus. No, seriously. Like
No,
I'm
he's
not saying
definitely better. He's
I know
definitely
he's a
better
better
than Wiley.
I know he is a better player, but I'm talking when we consider contracts and all that. Is he really an upgrade spending that type of money? If we go get one of those type of penalties or two of those type of penalties every game, y'all don't think this is go catch up to us?
I, I think he's still under the microscope. Like I think they still watching his every move, and it's just is if you was gonna do it fairly, this is how the game would be called.
No,
There would be a penalty every play.
he
We can call something.
he grabbed the face mask, bro. Like
He did grab the face mask.
that's a
Yeah.
clear penalty. Whether it's a safety or not, okay, I give you that, but that's a clear
No, it wasn't
penalty.
a safety. Um,
That's Mo. That's crazy, man. 10.
D Mag jumping in here.
What's
What up,
up,
D-Mac?
D man?
What's up, y'all?
But 10
We
penalties in
on.
4 games. That's to me. That's crazy. Like
That is.
come on,
It's a lot.
for somebody
I
getting
think
paid
he,
$20 million a year.
I think he's still under that microscope of we're watching in everything you're doing. Period. I mean, there's really no explanation. It's not like he's playing bad. He's not getting beat constantly.
Yeah, what you got on the D-Mac? We on Jawan Taylor.
Yeah,
Especially him.
I'll say this overall: the offensive line last night, after the first quarter, did not have a good game. The Jets, because of their front being exceptional and very athletic, they were able to run a whole bunch of stunts and twists, which is a San Francisco 49ers thing, which obviously saw a lot carries over there. And they got after him. They were able to, create some pressures consistently, and they had some issues kind of passing that off. And look, 2 new tackles, even though the interior offensive line is still great and has played together, there is going to be a bit of a, acclimation period for those guys to be more technical in the ways in which they do that. I would say Trey Smith got pushed back a little bit more than I want, but specifically talking about Jawan Taylor, he's had a penalty issue in the past. He does occasionally get grabby. That does happen. The more time that, and we talked about this in my post game space, was that he's 25 years old. He's a tackle. He's getting with Andy Heck. This is going to be the best offensive line coaching that he's ever had. These things are going to get worked out as he gets older. So, and again, this isn't a running back getting paid $20 million at 25. This is an offensive tackle. These guys get better as they get older. So you're going into this throughout the season. We're going to continue to monitor it. He has made the adjustment so that the spotlight that Country talked about where he's lining up and how early is he getting off the snap, it was an issue last night. Obviously, he's made the adjustments necessary to make this not an issue. I expect him to make the adjustments moving forward. Generally, as I've said, when he's allowed to play football, he's played well. Obviously, Bryce Huff got him in not in the end zone, but what ended up being counted as a safety for that good speed rush from Huff. And look, it is what it is. I think you got some penalties there. But ultimately, you also got to give credit for the Jets front that really tested this offensive line in the ways in which they hadn't been tested to start this season, because they got depth, they've got interior pass rush, and that's something that this offensive line just hadn't faced to this point, and it gave them some troubles.
Yeah,
Is he a bad player? I think Boogie is asking that. Is he a bad player?
I don't think he's a bad player. I'm not gonna say he's a bad player, but I'm saying he's getting paid $20 million. Are you seeing a big difference between paying him $20 million and we was paying Wiley how much? How much did Wiley get paid this offseason?
Well, he's been significantly better than Wiley, but Wiley's making like $4 million. Yeah, I agree with you, Boogie. 10 penalties in 4 games, that's unacceptable. But we also know that there is also, some extenuating circumstances with that that has been cleaned up. If this is a problem in week 15 where he's getting, penalized at a 10-4 game stretch, that's an issue. As of right now, I'm going to, be patient on that aspect of it.
You've been running a thread on the false starts. Did we add to that thread this week across the league?
Well, look, I mean, the tackles on the league are still doing it because nobody's going to get called for it except for Jawan Taylor. But he lined up where he needed to be the entire night, and it wasn't called. And generally speaking, he was fine outside of 1 or 2 pass rushes. So, again, adjustments are going to continue to be made over the season. I'm not worried about Jawan Taylor personally. I'm not even worried about Donovan Smith. I just know that, he's going to be a cheap left tackle that's serviceable. So he is what he is.
I do think that Jawan Taylor being on our microscope a bit is affecting him on some plays, but like D-Mac mentioned, like he really hasn't been all that bad, you know what I'm saying? Like, other than the penalties that are on the stat sheet, the penalties that are getting called and stuff. I feel like as the season goes along, this stuff might go away, but it just may be something we just have to watch every week,
Is this still the best offensive line Mahomes ever had? Y'all think?
I still think so.
Okay.
Well, I always thought that it was iffy from the standpoint of how much you value the tackles, because Mitch Schwartz wasn't all pro right tackle. Eric
Yeah.
Fisher was a very good left tackle. The interior offensive line during that 2019 Super Bowl was passable. So ultimately, balancing that versus the interior offensive line and then adding these guys, I think that it does still have the potential to be better than the 2019 offensive line. There are just some growing pains that are going to have to come over the course of the season, and they got set behind the eight ball because of how much Juwan got targeted with penalties early on.
Right, and it's like Patrick Mahomes ain't really been touched for real, as far as like if you count sacks given up.
Yeah, he took his first sack of the year last night, and
Yeah.
look, he's got the lowest pressure sack percentage because Patrick Mahomes just does that normally. But also, this offensive line has been good, generally speaking. It's either been penalties or that's it. They haven't really given up too many issues.
Yeah. So I mean, as we go along, the Jets they still get on this run. At halftime it was 20-12 or whatever. But I want to talk about that Zach Wilson touchdown, right? Justin Reed, it was unfortunate for him because Mike Dana's cap literally got peeled off and he tripped over his helmet. And that kind of helped Uzoma, get some separation getting in. So otherwise, I think Reed would have got there and knocked that down. That's just me. I mean, do y'all agree with that?
I
Yeah,
didn't see it live. I didn't
I
see it
didn't.
live until somebody tweeted it today, and I'm like, oh, well, that did make sense how he got beat that fast. But
Yeah, I had to take a mea culpa on that because I tweeted out Justin Reed in man coverage, which is still suspect. But on that one,
yeah, that's why he blocked your ass.
yeah. No, that one I can't put on him. It was just unfortunate you trip over a helmet, which I watched the play and I couldn't exactly tell how Mike Dana's helmet got popped off, but it probably wasn't a legal part of it that popped off. But that's a different conversation.
You can't stop the game and nothing like what I'm saying. It's just
Right.
bad luck. Really, there's nothing you can do about it.
I'm just saying, it looked like there might have been illegal hands to the face that caused Mike Dana's helmet to come off, which.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
But it's
Like
completely
said,
unfortunate for Justin Reed there that he's going to get charged with a touchdown allowed there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he would have knocked it down, but that did give him the necessary space he needed for that touchdown.
Yeah, that's all they needed, and that was when Zach Wilson was still on this hot streak, in which he was just placing the ball perfectly in areas in which the Chiefs defenders just couldn't get to, and you got to give Wilson credit for that.
Do you feel like Chris Collinsworth should be a quarterback coach for Zach Williams the way that he coached him throughout that second quarter?
I don't think Chris Collinsworth should be allowed over or around anybody under the age of 30.
Oh,
the other crazy thing is
that's nasty work.
The really funny thing is that everybody swears Collinsworth is like just meat riding on Mahomes, but he does it to every quarterback. So it's not like he does it to Burrow, he does it to Josh Allen. It's just
he has to though. He comes back around.
Yeah,
he'll love Mahomes, and then he'll big up the other quarterback to make it interesting. And then he'd come back because at the end of the game, he was back on loving Mahomes. But he had to coach Zach Wilson through the second quarter. That was his best quarter. He should have kept coaching.
I know one thing. Zach Wilson, like the soul of Aaron Rodgers went through his body all of a sudden with some of the throws he was making. I'm not even going to hold you. But, at the same time, man, I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. Ronnie Harrison, man, he was talking about Zach Wilson last night after the game like he was still in the NFL. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, he kept trying to bait Chris Jones into talking bad about Zach Wilson. It was weird.
And he called the Jets. He called the Jets and apologized for that, which he should have, because it was just it was very weird to try and bait Chris Jones into saying something derogatory there.
He should apologize to Chris Jones, but that's what he felt. And it's like, okay, just because y'all was using better words don't mean y'all wasn't saying the same thing he been saying all week. Zach Wilson was trash. That's what we've been hearing for the last 4 weeks. So now you can't say it at the game?
I mean, look, we can say that, but hell no, he's on a totally different stage.
He needs to get some more adjectives. He just didn't know what to say. But he said what we've been all saying, though.
But we know that it's different if you're interviewing a player the certain ways.
I mean, yeah, I know he shouldn't have said it. I'm just saying, but what he said was
No,
the
yeah,
same
no,
thing people have been saying. They just better at saying it than he was trying though. He should apologize to Chris for getting him trying to put him in that situation. And Chris is more media trained and was like, nah, bro, he's special. Yeah. Next
Right.
question. What are you
you just
talking about?
special, dog. you just special. I love Chris Jones, man. Just the Friday podcast that he did with the Kelces. Every time that you hear him, I mean, it's always fun to hear from Chris Jones. But look,
Yeah.
Zach Wilson, he was special for that second and third quarter stretch. He was putting just back shoulder dots out on these guys to CJ Uzama. I mean, not Uzama. Conklin. He had one to Uzama too. The Lazard
The
touchdown.
first touchdown.
Yeah, the Lazard touchdown, he throws it away from Cook trying to get to him right on time when he hits his back foot in that pocket. I mean, even the most impressive throw to me, which it won't be to other people, but I was calling for it the entire game because he was hitting his back foot and immediately throwing it, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do in that offense. They tried to trap him. They had McDuffie sitting on the out route that they called on second, and he knew it was,
Yeah.
and he threw it. But he threw it inside and made sure that the trap couldn't get to it. I mean, that's what you ask a quarterback to be able to do. So Zach Wilson for that 2-quarter stretch absolutely was special, and you got to give him credit for that. I believe the stat was that that's the first time since college or pro that Mahomes has been outproduced in touchdowns, passer rating, and yards, and throwing less interceptions by the other quarterback. A first time in any game, and somehow the Chiefs were able to still pull it out. Come hell or high water.
Zach Wilson, that's hilarious. And like, I do want to point out, since you mentioned Brian Cook, I want to point this out. That tackle
Play the game.
Game saving tackle.
Play the game.
Man, one of the
Game
biggest
saving
plays
tackle
right there.
in space, a lot of space too.
Yeah,
Where he could have very easily missed it. I was going to ask a question though. Did Zach Wilson get some of Michael Jordan's secret sauce during the second quarter or something? Who was that?
secret sauce, secret stuff.
You must have.
Some.
Something happened, man.
We've never seen him play like this. We've never seen him play.
Whatever he be taking, maybe he went into a darkness retreat during the first and second quarter break. Something happened. That man came out acting totally different. I ain't never seen him act like this.
Oh God!
He was making better throws than he ever made at BYU. He never had to throw into a tight window at BYU.
Because man, like that first quarter, dog, and it's part of that second quarter, Aaron Rodgers was like, "Oh my God, you just missing these dudes, man." Like, but yeah,
shout out to Brian Cook. That was the play of the game as far as I'm concerned, because most safeties get turned around there, and Breece Hall takes off, but he was able to keep his composure and bring him down, kind of just one armed, and then eventually hold on. And so that was the fact that you stop them there and they don't get points on that drive is a game saving play ultimately.
Manny loves him some flowers, man.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, man, he's a flower connoisseur.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, Cook made the play of the game. Turk Wharton finished. Hey, and we're not talking about this, and we're gonna get to the offense. I know we're gonna get into it because it's. Hey, y'all dirty for that. Y'all dirty for that.
Whoa, John, hold on, whoa.
John, you
Don't do that, man.
John.
Don't do that, man.
John.
You
We don't do
tripping,
that
John.
here,
You tripping. I forgot what I was gonna say. Turk Wharton effectively ended the game. That was the Mario sound when you mess up.
Oh, that
was the end of the game.
That was Zach Wilson's little power down moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Monstars got their power took right at that moment when he fumbled the ball. All of his power left, and it was over. Yeah. We're not really talking about that they kept the ball for over 7 minutes and effectively iced the game and didn't score. That reminds me of that time. Remember we played Carolina and they had like 25 plays and they didn't score nothing at the end. Like, what happened? Did they throw an interception or something like that?
I know. I remember with that game. It was some insane.
You remember the Eric Berry game, book, where Eric Berry had the interception and they had the ball. They did like 20 plays and didn't even score. They kept the ball for like a quarter and a half.
I think he picked off Cam, right? It was like near the goal
Yep.
line, and it was a pick six, if I
Mhm.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
so. I want to say that, but
yeah. I mean, look, you got to give credit to the Chiefs when they needed it. They found the two drives that they needed after the first quarter, in which it looked like the offense was completely out of sorts. But Mahomes with a few do or die plays, obviously with scrambles, a few runs here or there, and that was that they pieced it together. That's pretty much all it was. It wasn't pretty. It was completely ugly. But hey, I think the having slept on it, I kind of came away with this perspective on the overall game, and obviously we're getting the offense's perspective. But you had a good defense coming into this, and you knew it was a good defense. It was going to be the toughest defense you faced to this point. You came out, you played well to start, and you did what you were supposed to do for the first quarter, and then you took your foot off the gas. And that's going to be an issue moving forward. That cannot continue to happen. But after that point, you got a offense for the Jets that you had no idea was capable. Nobody saw Zach Wilson deciding to come out in the second and third quarters and turning into Aaron Rodgers, where he was throwing back shoulder throws, and the defense had to all of a sudden adjust to that. And I think, all things considered, safety aside, short fields aside, they did what was necessary because this offense didn't put them in a great position. So in a game in which the other team you would consider to have played above their station, you got an ugly win on the road. So
Anyway, man.
Manny trying to
Yeah.
get us off track.
I
oh,
know,
Okay,
but yeah.
let's
But
address
hold on.
the
Hold on.
elephant. Can we address the elephant in the room, Chuck?
But before we get to that elephant, real quick. All right, so D-Mac, you did. So before we get to the offense, right? I got a question for everybody here. The Chiefs wide receiver room. I mean, there was some controversy with that. Yep, I'm definitely getting to that. So, like, there's controversy with the Chiefs wide receiver room at this game, right? Was it more so? Is it the Chiefs wide receivers not getting separation, or is the Jets defense and unit just that good, man?
Both.
I think it's both of those things, and then the third thing about the concepts that they're using and the people that they're using the concepts with. I think all three of those are mitigating factors for this game. Go ahead, Boogie.
I think it's both. Jets do got a good secondary, good defense, but I mean, this receiving group, it ain't it. I think I've seen enough. I don't think it's it.
Oh boy,
I'm gonna
that's
ask
right.
this question again. Are we using too many wide receivers?
Yes. Well, no. We're using too much of two specific wide receivers. Um, Justin Watson is good in small doses, but he's too similar to MVS. You can't play both of them as many snaps as we're playing them right now. That can't happen. He needs to be a spell for MVS. He cannot be playing alongside MVS. Sky Moore. Teams play way too much zone against us right now. There's no opportunity to use his quick separation ability in man-to-man. And because teams are just cutting things off as far as crossers are concerned and out routes, there's no difference. And look, some of this is on Sky Moore because on that one out route, he should have converted. He needs to come back to the ball. So by no means am I saying that he needs to be let off the hook here. But it is very clear right now, MVS and Rashid Rice should be the two guys that are getting the majority of this team snaps, and then having Sky, Tony, and Watson kind of spell them. Now, look, the Justin Ross wild card of it all. That's something I don't even know how they can. I fucked that up. I don't even know if they can figure out how to implement him properly. I mean, that Ross thing is, I don't know if they can get him, but for me, it's Rice and MVS are the two guys that need to be getting the lion's share of the snaps right now.
Yeah, they seems like Justin Ross. It's looking like a 2024 season type of deal so far with Justin Ross, the way they playing him so far. And I agree with you, D Mac. It probably does need to just be MVS and Rice, the too many targets. Like with Rice, the thing that I do like what I'm seeing from him so far is that he can't get open. He is getting open. He's good at getting separation. But my issue with him is the drop passes. Like that cannot continue. That cannot continue like that. I think that's a focus thing with Rashid Rice right now. The drops, like that's got to get cleaned up. And I saw in the week during the week prior to this game where they was working drills, right? Like him and Kadarius and Cornell Powell and some others. and the coaches was
Oh,
making them get used to catching through contact. And for that little clip, or whatever, that little stretch in that clip, they didn't look that great doing it. So they really
Mhm.
got to work on that.
Yeah, I mean, the drops I agree with. Obviously, you would like to have that out, but at this current moment in time, based on what you're seeing from everybody else, I'll live with one or two drops a game and him actually making an impact out there compared to what we're getting right now. That's just me, though. I know other people feel different.
Yeah. But spite of that, I mean,
so
no grade did this thing, and the running backs did their thing. They caught their passes. So I know Travis Kelce, he brought it up after the game, how he was frustrated and was mad about the offense. He felt like the offense should have been a lot better than what they put out on the field last night. And I agree with him. We are much better than that offensively. And,
Hmm.
despite all that, it's crazy. Despite all that, we average 25 points per game. Like, that's still pretty solid. We just got to clean up a few things.
Yeah, that's
can I
true.
ask a question? Can I ask a question? Like Quinn said, okay, Mahomes is starting to hesitate throwing the ball to Sky when he's the first read.
Always. It's always been the thing.
Whose fault is that?
Shit,
Is
we
that
go.
Sky or is that Mahomes' fault?
Yes.
Yes to both.
Sometimes Sky is open and Mahomes isn't pulling the trigger, and sometimes Sky isn't getting himself open. Or sometimes Sky is getting himself open, Mahomes pulls the trigger, but Sky doesn't run the route completely how he needs to complete the pass. So it's yes, both of them are guilty on that part.
Yeah, because look, man, at the end of the day, man, like Mahomes, he was awful last night. I'm sorry, like he was awful. But in that fourth quarter, when you did need him, I can't even talk. I can't even talk like D May right now. When he needed to make plays, he made players. But overall, it wasn't a good performance. And it was some of that on the receivers, yeah. Because I mean, you mentioned it earlier, D Mac, when Sky was running out. You saw Mahomes after the play was like, "Come back to the ball." Like you saw him saying to Sky, like, "Come back to the ball, come towards me." You know what I'm saying? That's just some of the things that they got to work out and get cleaned up. But good thing is early part of the schedule, and everyone in this room, everyone on this podcast knows that we play our best ball on the back end of the schedule. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see how they clean it up throughout the year.
Yep.
Are people panicking because normally it's the defense that starts off slow, and now we have offensive issues that are popping up? It's like everybody knows the defense starts off slow, so they'd be like, Spag system, they'll get it together by week 8, but they don't have no patience with the offense. I don't get it.
People
Where's the
panic.
patience? There's no patience with the offense at all.
People panicked this time last year anyway. So I mean, this is just
Uh,
it is what it is.
Has the offense really showed y'all something to think that this group of receivers is gonna be enough? Have y'all seen something this
I see
season?
potential. I see potential in Sky. We seen it in the Jacksonville game. I see potential in Rasheed Rice. I don't know what we have in Justin Ross yet. I think MVS and Justin Watson are canceling each other out right now. One of them got to go. One one of them got to go. I'm sorry. It's either got to be MVS or it got to be Justin Watson. One of them needs to be gone by week 8. They cancel each other out. They're the same guy. You're not paying Justin Watson anything, so MVS, it might be you, bro. But
MVS is better than Justin Watson though.
That's
that too.
Yeah,
But is it a money thing or is it?
he's better. I mean, he's just better. He's faster. He can that. Well, look, he also has to hold on the ball. That he should have had that corner route. That's for sure. And the reason why I'm not personally panicking about this is because they know what works. They run it when they need to. I've seen them run the ball in the ways that they need to when they have to. They went to 11 personnel to spark the two long drives that they had, and they were running the ball out of it because they had to. They know how to get to their heavy personnel sets with Gray and Kelce. They know exactly which passing game concepts work because they run them when everything is on the line and they need it. It's just one negative play here sets them back, two negative plays there sets them back, and it is what it is. But I can't. This team needs to be distilled down, and I know that distillation happens over the course of the season because that's what Andy Reid always does. So they will have it ready for playoff time, in my personal opinion. Now, if you want to go out and add a wide receiver, I won't be against it. He just has to be a difference-making wide receiver. It can't be some random dude off the street because then you're just going to complicate the problem right now. you don't need another, C-level wide receiver in this room.
Well, who leaves in that situation?
In what situation?
You can get rid
If
of
say Tennessee fall off the cliff, and then Boogie finally get D-Hop on the team, who are we cutting off the team?
Th-
Shit.
Who's getting put out the rotation
This year?
right
Yeah,
now?
Right?
yeah, this year. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, Watson over MVS because you pay him MVS a little bit more too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least for this year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I mean, like D Hop and MVS, I mean, it's kind of redundant. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
D-Hop doesn't have the down the field speed anymore.
You
But he
think?
would just run all the end breakers that we just don't have in the offense right now, which is a different conversation.
Yeah.
What would you like to see from Scott right now that'll change your mind? Like Quinn saying he's not progressing, he like what are we trying to see?
Some
What
consistency.
are we gauging this? But Mahomes don't consistently give him the ball. Like
Well,
he
it's
gets
like you said, it's the
7
same thing
targets and
with
then he get 2.
it's the
How am
same
I
thing like
supposed
with
to tell you
McCollum.
anything in that?
So whose fault is it? Because I when you think about it, in 20 games, Sky Moore got 8 games where he didn't have a catch at all. Like we got to
Right.
get some consistency,
Mhm.
and that's with Mahomes. Like we said earlier, Mahomes season open, he'll pump fake it, but it's also with Scott Moore because, like you said on that route, he could have came back and caught that. He didn't break it off like he needed to. So I mean, it's both of them. But is it gonna be changed this season?
I mean, you would think with more reps and more opportunities.
You would hope. You would
That's-
hope. I mean,
I'll tell you what. You're not about to have murderers row for the next 4 games. We made it through the first quarter. The first quarter of the season was probably one of the hardest for us. Jacksonville, the Jets, before and after Aaron Rodgers. Defensively, the Jets. This is probably the hardest quarter of the season right now. This next quarter, it lightens up a little bit. The defenses aren't as we're not going to face another Jets-like defense for I don't know how many games. But so is this the time?
to the Eagles, probably. No, I mean, look, I said to the Eagles. This is, you've
Yeah, to
got
the Eagles.
the Vikings are awful. You got the Broncos twice, who are awful. The Chargers are nothing to be scared of. And Miami just got put on the hub by Buffalo. You know how
Right.
you can get to Miami. So, these next 5 games, you should be able to get after these teams effectively. You shouldn't be scared to do those types of things. But Mahomes has to start trusting these guys because you can't go into a playoff game and everybody knows it's Kelce, it's Gray, or running backs, and that's it. It's not going to work. You're going to get knocked out. You have to trust these guys, and you have to go through the growing pains of trusting these guys. Otherwise, it's going to be too late by the time you figure out that you can't.
Who is capable of saying it got to be Andy? I don't know if Nagy got that type of power yet. But who's capable of going to him and saying,
who
I can't believe Sporting Voice showed up. Who got the courage to go to Pat Mahomes and say, you know what? I need you to focus on Sky Moore this week.
That guy is in Washington. So hopefully it'll be Andy.
I say it's gotta be Andy, man.
It got to be Andy. I don't think Mac Nagy got it yet.
He doesn't. It's not. Oh, geez. It's not in his.
Go out? Oh, okay.
It's not in his temperament. It's not. So that guy's in Washington now. It's got to be Andy. Andy's the only one that has the cachet to do it.
Now I know we're going
Pat
hard.
say it though.
I know we're going hard on Scott Moore right now, but really none of these receivers is doing that now.
Yeah, I mean, you seen last night where, the group of Watson, Moore, MVS, I mean, they played 122 total snaps and they combined for 2 catches and 11 yards. I mean,
Come on, man, that's nasty work.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to get it done. Partly, they got to be better, but at the same time, I'm going to give the Jets defense some credit too. That's a hell of a unit. That is a hell of a unit. And like Quincy Williams, man, to me, out of all the guys on that Jets defense, he was the best player out there last night. That dude was flying over the field, bro.
Mahomes significantly underestimated their linebacking core, and that led to 2 interceptions and also some just bad decisions by him. But I agree with you, Boogie. None of these wide receivers are outside of Rashee Rice, in my personal opinion, are really showing you much. And so that means that you have to make some adjustments. And like I said, MVS and Watson are just too redundant at this current moment in time. Those guys just go down the field and stretch the field, and especially against a Jets secondary that you know is just going to put the top off. It's not going to work. So it's got to be Rice. It's got to be Sky. It's got to be Tony when he gets in the snaps. And right now, out of those three, Rashee Rice looks to be the best combination of understanding how to play against zone coverage and creating things after the catch, especially that's more important because these are going to be shorter routes. So from my perspective, it should be Rice and MVS as the top two guys. And
let's I'm sorry. Let's streamline it down to 5 right now.
I mean, they're all
Sky, MVS, Rice. Who else?
Sky and Watson. That's the 5 as it is right now. It's really got to be 3 with 2 mixed in. And in my opinion, it should be MVS, Rice, and when you need it, probably Tony, but, you know, more so consistently Sky. And so those 2 flip-flopping and then Watson as the 5th.
I'm sorry, bro. I'll be forgetting Tony exists sometimes.
No, they're using him.
I mean, I'm sorry, bro.
Like a gadget player, unfortunately.
He is Cole, and that's fine because otherwise he's going to die if you try and play him more. So it's fine.
We need a receiver, man.
He ain't even as productive as McCall right now.
Yeah, that's true. But I think that's also some of the misuse.
Pat told McCall, "Come on home, baby." We all seen the conversation.
They're not giving him the deep crosses that I think they should.
Let it rest.
We finally.
Y'all be sitting on. Hey,
I don't know why.
Rest, man.
We finally.
Okay, but look. Look, D-Mac. I specifically remember a lot of people saying, "Man, it just don't look the same with McCall not in there." No, same people. All right,
bro. Why do you keep bringing McCall up?
I'm just saying, y'all complaining about the wide receivers. I'm trying to find a solution.
He's not a solution.
Yeah,
okay. So what's the solution? Fix it then, Boogie. You know everything. Come on, fix it.
He's not the solution. Everybody knows McCall is not. He can't even play for the Jets. Why would we want?
Thank you, Jody. I know that's Jody. Thank you.
He can't play for the Jets.
We don't need a. We can't even feed the wide receivers we got. Y'all want to add another one?
Yeah, we need somebody that can get open on his own.
Who?
A veteran receiver.
Like who?
Somebody
and if you say Mike Evans, bro, I swear to God.
Somebody
Mike Evans is 48 years old. No.
Hey,
I should have got asked for Adam Thielen today. What are you talking? Adam Thielen?
Yeah,
Adam
Thielen.
You're not getting Justin Jefferson. Stop it.
Adam Thielen. Like, we that desperate? Adam Thielen?
Man, come on, bro.
Maybe I'm naive. I still think that the wide receiver room is fine. There just needs to be rush from Mahomes.
They need to streamline it.
Yes.
You need to focus on. You need to take 3 guys and focus on those 3 guys.
I agree.
And mix in the other 2 guys how you can.
I agree.
Yo,
who's your 3?
Can Justin
MVS, Rice, and Tony when I need it, and then I'll mix in Sky accordingly and Watson accordingly to get this stuff.
Can Justin Ross get a fair shake?
No,
it ain't not this year. It ain't gonna be this year.
We can clamor for it like it's going to be the Jody Fortson where it's like, oh well, we need to give Jody Fortson more snaps because he's so athletic, and it's not going to happen. Hey, he's not going to be on the field. Is what it is.
2024. Like I said.
It is what it is.
Okay.
But anyway, since the crybaby Bengals fan talks about it, okay.
Do we even have to?
22. Okay, look.
We need a vet, bro.
This morning, I admit it. Because I know me, Country D-Mac, we got to it about that last night. This morning, I admitted that I was wrong, okay? I've seen all kinds of tweets came from certain people, former NFL offensive linemen. I seen offensive lineman expert guru Duke Manyweather. I saw Brandon Thorne say the opposite. So I was wrong. They right. They all saying that it wasn't a hold, then it's not a hold.
Jeff Allen as well. And look, I will also
wait a minute. I'm sorry, D-Mac. This is a PSA. These are my thoughts. My thoughts alone is not a reflection of any of my team or Kingdom Cast.
Here we go.
If an NFL veteran is tweeting about something and they say, this is the rules, this is how it goes. You, as a couch fan, shut up. Don't tell that player you don't know ball. How could you even fix your mouth to tell Jeff Allen you don't know ball? What ball have you ever played
That's
besides the one on your couch or Madden or with yourself? Chill out, bro. Like stay in a fan's place sometime, bro. It's not smart to tell a player that's won the Super Bowl, that played for over 8 years, that played for over a decade, you don't know ball. What are you doing? What are you do? When it gets that bad, that means it's time for you to go have a seat. That means it's time that you go hug your wife and kiss your kids and spend some quality time with them, because you really stepped out of your lane. Like you've driven all the way out of your lane by telling a former player they don't know ball, especially a guy who plays that particular position. I don't care if you like Jeff Schwartz. I don't care if you like Jeff Allen. I don't care if you like Duke Mayweather. They know more than you.
Yep.
Period. They get paid to do this. You sitting at home on your little iPhone 11. Chill, bro. I'm done. I'm
And
sorry.
by the way, since Sports Voice want to talk about this only offensive lineman saying this, no, defensive
They
lineman is
1-3,
saying
bro. Don't even address this dude. They not even 500.
yeah, Kyle, Gerald McCoy.
Y'all
I'm
about to
about to
lose
say
to
his name.
Arizona. Chill out, bro. Chill.
Yeah,
Your
Gerald
quarterback
McCoy.
leg about to fall off. He still got to walk across the street to practice. Chill.
But yeah, even
You
Gerald
can't
McCoy.
even you can't get in. The man worth $270 million. Y'all can't even give him a golf cart to practice. He ain't worth a golf cart. Y'all ain't got no scooters. Y'all ain't got no segways.
No,
This man got to walk across the street, across the intersection to get to practice.
What Chuck was going to say was Gerald McCoy also tweeted out and said it wasn't a hold. Will Blackman, who's is DB that also is on Twitter, said that it wasn't a hold. It is what it is. And look, there were some calls missed on the other side, some calls missed on our side. These things happen. Refs are going to miss calls. They're human beings. Oh well.
But they got
And
a crossing guard to get to practice, dog. A crossing guard, but are you?
Zach Wilson dropped the ball with the game on the line, and he said it was his fault. There's a reason for that. They got their own reasons to blame themselves for the game. It is what it is. But yeah, it is what it is.
yeah.
When you practice at the dog park at Swope Park, you cannot talk to champions, bro. I'm serious, dog. When practices meet me under the bridge, you can't talk to them.
Yeah.
Are y'all serious?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this real quick, man. Yeah. At the end of the day, man, it was controversial calls on both sides, bro. Like DG said in the comments earlier, like it was a street fight. It was a street fight. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of hands to the face, slapping, all that good stuff. Because I mean, on that 3rd and 23, at the end of the day, it should have just been a incidental hands to the face on Jermaine Johnson. So
Can you imagine Pat Mahomes having to cross Swope Park to get to practice?
Jody silly. Don't go to Swell Park at night. Yeah, she ain't lying.
Hey, don't go to Crossroads because apparently it's the trenches. Don't forget that.
And then they're gonna say, "Well, it's a river park." Man, it's supposed to be a stadium. What are you talking about? Why are they practicing under a bridge? Why are you using dumbbells to hold down the goalposts at practice? Stop it, man. Stop it. Y'all 1-3, bro. Don't talk until y'all 500.
All right,
Don't even come back in here until y'all 500.
Yep. So basically, essentially,
God, and Bears 27-3 against a team that can't score. Tennessee don't score. They quarterback eat mayonnaise. Come on, bro. Chill.
Donovan
I'm
Smith.
sorry. Go ahead. I'm done.
No, you're good. Donovan Smith does have some issues with his kick out, but he's always had some issues with kick out. He's more of an up around type of guy. It is what it is. That's why they usually can give him chip help. John Taylor's been fine this entire time when he plays football. He's been fine. He's been really good. I can't say it any other way. It's just occasionally he makes some penalties and that sets us back. But legitimately, when he does not have those one penalty, play a game that he does, he's been great. He's been fine. So it's a difficult thing. Honestly, the only troubling part of our offensive line, in my personal opinion, right now, is how much Trey Smith occasionally gets beat with bull rushes, because obviously you can't allow that quick pressure up the middle. That is the really not bull rushes, I should say. Really, it's more of a quick inside counter move where he gets beat with a little bit of agility. So that is the one issue that I have right now with the offensive line that I'm concerned about. But the tackles have been better than we dealt with last year, man. Like, that's just a fact. and I'm good with that. That's what I asked for. That's what they've given me. The penalties will get worked out, in my opinion, as we go along.
It looked like teams are definitely scouting Trey Smith as far as doing that inside agility move, because you saw Aiden Hutchinson. That's how he dominated when he moved inside against Trey Smith, and I think teams are seeing that. But Trey Smith in the run game has been outstanding. Like, the dudes come with bad intentions. It seems like every game in the run game.
Who did he murder last night brutally? Rest in peace and condolences to that man's family. Who was that? Did you know?
Jordan Whitehead got Jordan Whitehead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he got on that pull. And look, it's a very specific critique, but again, they used Huff to kind of come in on some inside counter moves, and they got him. That's how they got the holding penalty on Trey Smith. And again, it's not a death knell for this offensive line, but it is a point of concern because, again, that quickness can give up some quick pressure, which is an issue. But again, you still have the best quarterback really in history at attack avoidance. So from that standpoint, at least you're well equipped from that aspect. But yeah, I mean,
when is our bye week?
Week 10. After the
No, we gotta get better before that. They're gonna have to use this is about to be more practice for the offense. I really need Pat. I really need you to just lock in with 3 of these guys. Pick 3 of them, and y'all the guys. I'm gonna lock in with y'all. I'm gonna build my relationship with y'all, and then I will fit you other 2 guys in when I need you.
Okay, so yeah,
but he needs to lock in with 3 of these guys. I'm thinking Sky, Rice, MVS.
Hopefully, one of them players ain't on the team yet. Out of them 3.
Actually, one of them guys is probably. I think he hurt his ribs. He probably was crossing the street and got hit. By a car or something. But I think he hurt his ribs, so he's gonna be out for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
he might be one of the 3.
He'll be out. He'll be out for a month. They're not trading T. Higgins to us. But look, I will say this: they have the Thursday night game against Denver after Miami. So they're going to be a 10-game span in between that and being home to the Chargers. They'll be home for that Thursday night game against Denver again. That could be a little bit of time for some offensive adjustment there.
Yeah, but they're not playing nobody in Texas. That's what I'm saying. It's the difference between practice reps and live reps. They need live bullets firing versus the defense that they don't know reps.
This is
to make this happen.
This is the stretch.
That's why I hate that they cut the preseason game out, bro. We need another preseason game or something.
I agree with that Minnesota comment, Quinn. We definitely need to score more than 24 against the Vikings.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And also,
that defense
it's awful. And also, we scored 23 against the Jets. So, like, the Jets have a good defense. It's not
Buffalo didn't do that.
Oh yeah, they didn't. They scored 17 or whatever. But Josh Allen gave them. It is what it is. It wasn't bad. I had them slated for 27. They scored 23. I mean, it was 23 in which they gave up an extra 7. They could have had 30, but they decided to end the game instead. So I don't know. It is what it is. I don't think that was a bad offensive showing. I think it was a mediocre one in which Mahomes really has a lot on his plate for because he gave the ball away twice. He just did. He decided to give the ball to the other team twice.
Yep. And speaking of that, yeah, that was very smart of him to do so at the very end to
Manny is nuts,
slide
man.
instead of score. So like if you remember, the Jets were in a similar situation against the Browns a few years back. Nick
Yeah,
Chubb
last year.
decided to
Last year.
score. Yeah. Oh, it was last year. Okay, I thought it was 2 years
Mhm.
ago. Yeah. So Nick Chubb decided to score, and when the Jets had no timeouts left, and it gave the Jets some hope, and the Jets essentially came back and won the game. So that was very smart of Patrick to slide at the end after he got the first down to win the game. I know sports bettors were disappointed about that, but listen, it's all about getting the W, man. So hey, that's on y'all.
Oh, that's why Quinn been so mad today. It ain't got nothing to do with the wide receivers. Quinn, come on, you told on yourself. You snitched
Right.
on yourself, bro. You lost. Hey, if Pacheco had the ball, I would have been rooting for him to score. I ain't gonna lie to you, but
The Eagles defense still employs Jalen Carter and Fletcher Cox and Hassan Reddick and Nolan Smith and a lot of people that know how to get out of the pass rusher. So even if they have some leaky points in their secondary, their defense is still very good. King talks about obviously the connection between Stafford and Puka. There's also a piece of that that's good on Sean McVay because Sean McVay is allowing Puka to do the things that he's good at. Andy Reid isn't necessarily doing those things with these wide receivers right now. That's just a
and
fact.
if Cup was 100%, will we know who Puka is?
Yeah.
I mean,
It will be good.
Puka still would be.
Would he be a household name? He wouldn't
No,
be a
he would not
household
be
name
I
enough.
mean,
this
well,
year
no, not
Cup
this
would be
week.
good enough.
No,
if Cooper
not that
Cup
week.
was
No.
100%.
No, he would not.
Not that he nice. He nice. Don't get it. I mean, that's what you need to see. Somebody needs to step it up. So the challenge is to Pat Mahomes and the wide receivers. Somebody
Indeed.
needs to step up.
Oh,
Luther Burden is
so
the best wide receiver in Missouri.
At what point would y'all say we need to try to trade for a receiver? It's gonna take probably to the trade deadline.
If we do not put up, 28 plus points against Minnesota and Denver, I would say then I will be hitting the panic button on adding a receiver to this offense.
Were we hitting the panic button last year around this time?
Yeah, everybody was. I mean,
yeah, we
because
was.
it was coming after the Colts game. Everybody was like, "Oh, they don't have Tyreek Hill, so they're
Man,
not."
I seen somebody say that we missed Juju today, and I damn near passed out at my desk at work because
I think the Patriots also missed Juju. And it is what
I
it
didn't
is.
know what Juju was by this week.
Oh God.
But look,
We was just coming off the Indianapolis loss and
yeah.
beating on Tampa Bay.
Well, I was going to say that this was the week in which you destroyed Tampa Bay, and everybody kind of relaxed. But it is what it is. It's an up and down. It's a week to week league, so you're going to have those things where people panic week to week. But I will say this offense need to come out and have its way with bad Minnesota and bad Denver. Minnesota, which is Brian Flores, so they're going to throw some stuff at you. This offensive line has to be ready for.
Yep, big
Okay,
facts.
so we here a little bit early this year, but we on baby step time right now. So Boogie, what do I need to see? What do you need to see from Sky to stay on the? You started the bandwagon. That's why I can't believe you jumping off of it. This is what I'm saying. What do you need to see to keep driving this Sky Moore bandwagon?
We just got to get some consistency, like 4 or 5 games of 3, 4, or 5 catches.
He gonna have to get with Pat, man. It's okay. So here's the issue. Here's the question that I have, and then I got to get to my apology, Chuck. Don't make me forget. Is Pat Mahomes spreading the ball too much? Is this a detriment to the progress of the wide receivers? Is he spreading the ball? Is there too many options?
I think it's a good. I usually think it's a good problem to have. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm saying if the tight ends and the running backs are getting 12 targets and the wide receivers are getting 11, that sounds like a balanced quarterback to me.
I don't think he's spreading.
But do we want?
He's just not trusting the guys that he needs to because there are times in which these guys are open. So he just has to throw the ball. Like it's not.
That's my thing, man.
There's no issue with throwing the ball to wide receiver or to running backs and tight ends. We've seen it be very effective, and especially when you're going heavy personnel sets and things of that nature. But he needs to throw the ball when these guys get open, and if he has to trust them to do that, man. And I know some of them he's had the drops or whatever. this offense is not going to be sustainable unless you trust these guys when they get open. Them getting open and the concepts in which they get open off of is a different issue. But he himself does have to trust these guys at a certain point. As a fact, it's
Yes.
not happen. And I agree with this. There's no wide receiver consistency. I think that's also a part of you need to distill down this rotation to 3 to 4 guys that these guys are consistently playing. You don't need to play 5 guys over 20 snaps. That just can't happen. It's not a sustainable method. You can look at the top offenses across the league. Their top 3 targets are all in that 20 to 20-ish range or 20 to 25-ish range as far as target share for a reason, because these quarterbacks trust them and they know what exactly they're going to be and when they're going to be there. And you have to develop that chemistry over the course of the season.
When does this become a Pat Mahomes issue?
Like him by himself.
Nah, I don't think it ever gets that bad where it's just him. Because again, there's 2 other pieces.
But I'm saying, who has the ball the most? It's his decision.
Well, if you ask him, he will absolutely say it's his problem. He will take it upon himself.
That's what I'm saying. I don't get why fans are so reluctant to blame him for stuff when he usually takes credit before y'all even get the chance to.
But if he takes credit for it, and let's say in 2-3 more weeks we still having the same problem, it's on Veach. Because then you need to get somebody in here that he can trust quickly.
Or you need to just start trusting. Why he get relieved of that?
How does what?
How does he get relieved of that situation? How when is Veach gonna pull him in and say, "Yo, you gotta trust these guys. You gotta throw them the ball."
Yeah, but this is a $500 million quarterback. If I don't trust him, you need to give me somebody I can trust. That's your job.
How are you gonna start to trust them if you never throw them the ball? Like what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Do you think
what's gonna come first?
Do you think
trust
if we had a veteran receiver right now, like D-Hop, you wouldn't trust him more?
Hell no.
Yeah, please. No. Please not Chase. No, please.
No.
I'm saying
play football.
Yeah, I'm no on Chase too. Why y'all at it? I'm no on that too.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
We can just keep going for real.
They can be bad, but they ain't that goddamn bad. This dude, he don't even want to be out there to play. Come on, man.
We need dogs.
The XFL or the USFL. That's what.
Yeah, he need to go play the house.
We need dogs, man.
My battle hawk.
Yeah, you talk about not trusting Scott. I don't trust a guy that don't show no effort at all.
Yeah, I'm cool on that.
Yeah,
I'm cool on that. Next question.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I ain't mess with that.
But I'm saying,
I don't know, Boogie. I couldn't tell you. I'd love to say that he would trust it if a veteran receiver would come in here.
But just because we bring in a veteran guy, who's gonna say he trusts them out the gate?
That's what I can't.
MVS wasn't trusted till the AFC Championship game.
But I'm talking about 1,000-yard receivers, acquiring 1,000-yard type receiver, not these guys that's never been.
D-Hop is got 850 guys. Who cares though?
You said what?
D-Hop if I got 850-yard guys, who cares about 1,000?
You don't have one 800-yard receiver on this roster right now, man.
I disagree with that.
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, me too. I think I got at least 2.
I think if you trust Rashee Rice and given the snaps you should, he would absolutely get it.
I got 2 on a possible.
So
I truly do.
Who's your 2?
So MVS and Rice is y'all 2?
Yeah.
I think you do. If you complete, because here's the thing. You have to, like I said, the same way in which defenses have to earn the right to rush the passer, you have to earn the right to get big plays because of what you've done in the past. So this team has to run the ball consistently. This team has to take the underneath stuff. And you do that enough for 2 quarters consistently, as you probably would have if you kept your foot on the gas pedal, as you did against the Bears, that eventually led to the MVS touchdown that was taken off the board for a legal formation that didn't exist. Then you can have the right to get big plays. If you do
I perked up. I thought you was about to do a PSA. I perked up a little bit. I'm sorry, my bad. I felt it.
It's the truth. You have to earn the right because defenses are not going to give it to you. They will play 3 safeties deep. They will play 2 safeties deep. They will play quarters coverage, and they will dare you to go 10 plays down. And guess what? After you go 10 plays down 3 times in a row, they get sick and tired of having 10 plays put on their ass, and eventually they go and move the safeties up, and you can throw it over the top.
And
You
that's where the
said
run
that
game
is
comes along.
a PSA, D Mac. I like that. I like that. I like that in
And
you.
that's
You
where
have
the
to
run
do.
game comes into play. Shout out to
Yes,
I'm
Indiana
saying,
running the
I'm
ball last
saying,
night.
I'm saying, bro, you don't get 4 games in the season and be like, hey man, I don't trust these guys. And y'all been working out for 6 months. I don't get that. I don't get that. That means Pat ain't said nothing this entire summer and this entire preseason, the entire training camp. And now he like, well, I don't trust these guys. Like that sounds crazy to me.
I know what the type of person Pat is, though, and I think I can safely say he understands that some of this at least is on him because he's got to throw the ball when guys are open. He's watching the tape. We heard the stories from Kelce where he's watching tape at volleyball games, taking notes. He sees these guys are open. He just has to trust them. He knows that part of it is on him. So
So what do they need a movie date? Do they need to go out to the club together?
no.
And suddenly start clicking with Juju when they was playing Call of Duty. When the new Call of Duty come out, Boogie?
November.
When November, right?
Damn, man, we gotta wait till November for them to get it together.
Ooh.
Can they play 2K?
Oh Lord.
We got to see do Mahomes got 2K or what he playing right now. That's
Yeah, play some video games with these kids, man.
Kyler
Man,
Murray would never, man.
Scott has sent you the rec room request. You ain't even answered them. MVS is like, man, when that new Call of Duty, baby, they got some new maps. Either he got to start playing video games with these kids, or man, what's going on?
Oh man.
It's all Taylor Swift's fault.
Oh Lord.
Oh man. Okay.
But real
Serious
quick though,
moment.
before
Serious
we change
moment.
the subject, man, Sauce Gardner just came out with some more tweets.
Man,
Earlier he
Good for
came
him.
Sauce,
out.
come on, bro. Chill out.
No,
Chill
no,
out. Y'all
but
lost.
no,
It's
no,
over.
but
What
no.
he
This is
say? What he
important.
say?
This is important. This is important. All right.
Okay.
So after him talking about if he was a Swiftie, they wouldn't have threw the flag on him. After all that stuff, this is what he just tweeted not so long ago. Since we're commenting, let me say it from my perspective. For starters, this was around 5 or 7 yards from the line of scrimmage, not 15. Two, I extended my arms and he made the choice to lay on me with all his weight, which caused my hand to slide to the back of his pad, not his neck. I did not grab him. I actually made a conscious effort to remove my right arm, as you can see in the video, laughing. And he did try to swim with his right hand, and I pushed his arm down with my left hand, laughed my ass off. There y'all have it. It was not holding or illegal contact. Oh, my fault. It was holding because he threw the flag.
You
So
lost.
yeah.
Sauce, he
Congratulations.
But,
lying. He lying. Because last
but
night he
but
said he ran into him. Last night he ran into him. He ran into me.
You
What
lost.
was I supposed to do?
It
right.
is what
Shut
it
up,
is.
Sauce.
Sorry,
Sauce,
dog.
you a sucker for
Hey,
that, bro.
You're a great
You
player.
too good to be. You too good to use that as an excuse, bro.
I
Stop
agree
it.
with that as
Right.
well.
I'm
Yeah,
about to
you
say
are
like
too good for that.
You a sucker
Sauce
for
is a
that,
hell of a
Sauce.
talent. Sauce is a hell of a talent, but he is grabbing. He's
He
extremely
plays.
grabbing.
He plays like a long, tall, really physical corner should play, and occasionally that leads to excessive grabbiness. And sometimes he does get called for it, sometimes he does not, and that's fine. He is a great talent. You got caught on that one, dog. It happens.
It happens. Y'all lost.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me get to my apology. This is directly I guess it's to everybody. There was a play last night. Pacheco had just came off a great run, and then they decided to run a screen to Clyde. I'm sorry, Boogie. That man's slow as hell. It was potential there for at least a first down.
It was.
It was potential there for a big run.
It was.
And he came chugging around that corner so damn slow. I wanted to call you last night. I'm sorry, bro. I finally seen it. I'm man enough to admit I was wrong. He was so slow around that corner. Oh God.
He got caught from behind. He got caught from behind.
I'm sorry.
They
I
ran.
apologize.
They
I
finally ran the
apologize.
running back screen too.
D-Mac, I apologize. Boogie, Chuck, Kylie, CJ, DG, the whole team. I apologize to each and every one of you. I finally saw it last night, and it was just embarrassing. And D-Mac is so shocked that he's
Oh,
frozen.
damn, he froze up.
I froze him up.
He
But
he
I've been having this. I told you this morning I was gonna apologize to you, didn't I? That was like 7. So this how long it's been on my mind. It was just he came around that corner and it was just so molasses glue. It was just he was just so slow, and I was like, I can't. It's over. It really is.
I'm
So
happy they starting to use McKinnon a little more too, though.
and me too.
Let's
Me
start
too.
doing that now.
It's time because that was just. Oh man.
Yeah, it might be
Yeah.
over for Clyde, man.
I
It might
know,
be over,
man. I
man.
know. I'm sorry, man. I apologize, bro. Like King, it was so bad,
For
King
real.
Mo. It was just
Cause dog,
and
he had so
the
much space,
screen,
bro.
the screen was perfect, bro. Like it was wide open,
Yeah,
and
bro.
he could.
He had so much space in the open field, dog, and he could
It
only
was
get
just.
1 yard, man. Oh my goodness.
I
Oh
just was like, man, if McKinnon would have had that, that would have been 20, 30 yards, maybe a score. And Clyde is like really just he's really just relegated to being a goal line running back at this point. Like it's just really nothing else he could do. He's just I mean I think them injuries just really caught up him. He's a great guy. He's probably a great locker room guy. He keeps the other guys motivated. The running back room loves him, but it's just yeah, it's over, bro. I'm sorry, man. I apologize. But yeah, I apologize from the bottom of my heart. I just,
I'm happy you finally seen it, man.
man, he was so
what
slow
the
coming
heck?
around there. He was slow. It was,
Oh gosh.
Bro, I just
Thanks for the
tweeted that,
info.
bro. They 0-3, bro.
Yeah, like
Like,
that's clown behavior. That look like clown behavior
yeah,
to me.
who
yeah,
cares? Like 0-3, and you talking like that, bro?
0-4. No, they
Oh and
1-3
4.
now.
I'm sorry.
No, they one
oh
and
and
three.
They
4.
did
No,
win
they
this
one
week.
and
They
three.
beat the
They
Panthers.
beat Carolina. They beat
They,
Yeah,
Carolina.
yeah.
yeah, they beat, yeah, so they still 0 and 3. Um,
Basically.
yeah, dog,
Hell, he ain't gonna lose
yeah.
that Carolina
I'm
ball.
just, I, I'm sorry, D Mac, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
No, I would apologize as well because I was advocating for CEH at times as well. And look, I said it in our post game. Look, we just got to wait until the running back rotation gets distilled down into Jet and Pacheco. So it is what it is. But yeah, I agree. You got to just run the screen with Jet because Jet has the juice to be able to make that happen. And I think as we go throughout the season, Pacheco will get more work in the passing game, which would include screens as well. It's just got to happen down the stretch. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Shout out Pacheco, man, because
shout
this
out
was a hell
Pacheco.
of a fucking
Pacheco had a
game,
hell
man.
of a game, man. I
Jersey
hope it
on the
wasn't just because he
jersey.
was at home.
Yep, it
I
was.
just need you to be Pacheco. Bring that every week, bro.
He
Please.
definitely has
He
some
does
extra
bring it every
juice,
week.
and he always got juice, but he
Yeah,
had a little extra juice.
He
the
does.
push-ups was a nice touch.
I like them push-ups. I
He
like
tried
Push-ups
that.
was a
I like
very
that.
nice touch.
run, but he didn't for some reason. So he's like, all right, well, I'll show him with the push-ups. Let's go with that way. But yeah,
Yeah,
he normally obviously acts like that just because that's what he brings to the table. But you could tell it was special for him being back in Jersey. So shout out to Pacheco. Had a hell of a game, 150 yards from scrimmage.
one last thing on the receivers. Okay, when Mahomes finally got it together, I believe that that's when he started involving Rice into this equation.
Yeah,
Those quick throws to Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that more, bro. Let's simplify. It feel like we do this every year. Let's
Especially if he
simplify.
go get them 800 yards y'all talking about.
I can't stand you.
I
I
mean,
just
look,
apologize to you, and you still talking. I don't get it.
it's the same thing. They ran it like four. I think they ran it like 4 times against the Bears, and they ran it last night as well. You get into 11 personnel, teams are going to play soft coverage because they don't want you running all over them, and you just throw a quick pass to Rice, and he runs after the catch and gets a first down. It happens every time that you do
It happens.
because that's just the way defenses are going to play you. And eventually, you do it enough. You don't do it consecutively, ideally, obviously, but eventually you're going to get production out of it, and it is what it is.
That's also the reason I was mad at Clyde because I seen Rasheed Rice get shot out of a cannon and get a first down, and
Clyde was he was.
I mean, it was a perfectly blocked screen. It was just beautiful. All you had to do was just run.
I was looking at the play.
And
the replay, and I was like, okay, wait, did somebody miss a block? No, it was just blocked, and he got caught from behind. So.
I thought he was jogging, but he literally was like walking, and he only got 2 yards, and it was open for 25, and it's just.
I'm glad Quinn said this also because this goes back to the Puka Nakua Matthew Stafford point. Sean McVay uses these guys the right way. You have bigger body guys that can do these types of things. You can run slants with Rasheed Rice. You can run Justin Ross slants if you wanted to. Mahomes has to trust these guys with some of this. You can run some back shoulder plays, but that's not in Andy Reid's playbook necessarily. So those are things that you have to get to if you want to use these guys correctly also.
That's another thing that's annoying. That's another thing that annoys me.
Already? Damn.
First game back, man.
Yeah, I saw him get carried off, but yeah, that's another thing that's annoying me is that like there's not enough back shoulder throws in the playbook. There's not enough of those type of routes or those type of situations in the playbook.
And part of that is also Mahomes trusting these wide receivers. That took time with Juju to kind of develop like, oh, I can really trust Juju to throw these back shoulders. He's going to catch them. So obviously we saw the touchdown to Sky against Jacksonville. He has to trust these guys to be able to do those things.
Isn't it his footwork again? Because you know how he just when Pat's not having a good day, his footwork just goes in shambles. Like this is part of the reason that Pat was supposed to be a second-round pick because his footwork is not great. You know what I'm saying? Like his flexibility is great. He can throw from every angle, but when it doesn't go right, he just throws all that. He just goes to the backyard. So
yeah, his footwork wasn't right last night. That's for sure. I think some of that was a little bit of uncomfortability.
The quarter he did Wilson had a great quarter.
You have to admit he did outplay
Mahomes was not good at all last night.
Mahomes had a bad game.
He was not good, bro.
Wilson outthrew Mahomes, but because Mahomes chose to scramble specifically in the times in which he did, he actually outplayed Wilson. But Wilson had a better day. For sure.
How do y'all feel about the Rice Debo? I've been hearing that a lot lately. Is Quinn the one that started that? The Rice Debo comp?
Yeah, Quinn definitely started that.
Yeah, I like the comp. I heard Seth Kaiser, them boys also over there talking about it as well. So yeah, I mean I think it's a fair comp. He's got the bigger body, he's stout, and he has the explosion as well. And you know. I think you can obviously say the hands are maybe where he falls a little short, but generally once he gets the one drop he has to get out of his system, he's fine. So
yeah, he got to get off that, man.
Yeah. Let's get back to the basics, bro.
Just throw a screen to him on 1st and 10, have him drop it in the first quarter, and then you'll be fine the rest of the game.
That's what
I remember that throw, Kyle. I remember that, and he still completed it. And Pacheco was running down the sideline.
Yeah. I think there was a little bit, and Juice talks about it when he's under constant pressure. I think that there was a little bit of uncomfortability there in the pocket after some of those stunts and twists started messing with the offensive line. So, but look, these are generally problems in which they sometimes happen game to game, and then all of a sudden it's fixed next game. So I think they'll be fine.
We
did. Scott Moore got one though, right?
Yeah, they run him occasionally.
Yeah.
Scott Moore look a little faster too on that end around because last year I hated him running end arounds because it was like, no, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And then Kadarius Toney, stop doing the run around Mahomes to run around because it just reminds me of Tyreek, and you ain't Tyreek. Stop it.
Well, they like their they like their orbit motion, so they're gonna keep doing it. I'm just happy we got a Kadarius Toney target that was further than 5 yards downfield on that little wheel route they sent.
And that was a good catch, man.
That was a great catch.
He knew that hit was coming.
Yeah, he went down.
Good way to secure that, man.
And again, Kadarius Toney just needs to be used a little bit more creatively. They're not necessarily doing that. They're doing the short stuff, which is fine, but they need to be using him more for the impact plays down the field because he could do that stuff.
I ain't gonna lie. Every time he did it, though, I was looking like, damn, is he making sure he getting up. Every play, I'm like,
yeah.
Man. I mean, speaking of that, and then we can move on to sponsors and end it up. But Washington, the kid.
Yep.
And this is how bad the punt return has been. I think I held my breath every punt. Every punt. It was like, oh, is he gonna catch it? Is he gonna catch it? Ooh, thank you. Thank
was
you.
less
Like I did that far too many times, but I think Kid is good. And just like that, he probably gonna blow it next week. But
Oh God.
I was gasping for air every time we punted the ball. Like that's how bad the punting situation has gotten for us.
it was less adventurous last night, so I was happy to see that. He looked
He
very
took
much
a helmet to the
control.
knee. I thought you said a concussion.
Damn, that was a knee. That's unfortunate.
Ugh.
Hey, Washington is doing a good job on returns. Obviously Richie James, if he comes back, we haven't heard anything on the MCL, like if he's having surgery or anything. But as long as Washington is the return man, I feel comfortable. I think I can actually take a deep breath because I'm always tweeting like during the game. So like if something happens where we get off the field on third down, I'll tweet out whatever it was on third down that I liked about it. And then last year it was like, oh shit, somebody just dropped the punt return. Now we got to go back on the field. I was looking at my phone.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So before we do go to the sponsor real quick, I want to just ask you about the AFC in general, man. So like we're 3-1 with three other teams, right? It's us, the Ravens, Bills, and the Dolphins. Like, do y'all feel like we're the best team in the AFC, or is it somebody else right now?
I think we'll be the best team in the AFC in January, but right now I would give the Bills the nod as the best team in the league, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I say Bills too, because like that first week,
Our second best pass rusher hasn't played yet. And to be fair, the Bills' best pass rusher hasn't played. We got to give him credit for that. But our second best pass rusher hasn't played yet.
right?
We're still chilling.
I would go to Bills. Bills. What about the Ravens? Ravens are a ticking time bomb. Them injuries it's just got to catch up with you eventually.
Yeah.
And every week is 3 or 4 more guys. It just
Humphrey
never.
coming back this week though, right?
Who?
I think Marlon Humphrey coming back this week.
He might. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
It's
he's
Yeah.
playing
the
close.
Ravens, so somebody else will end up getting hurt. But if they're healthy,
Right.
I had them in the AFC Championship game with us, so I think that they're still an excellent team. So, and Lamar is proven that all the dumb narratives about him throwing the ball were stupid. He's
Oh
balling
my
out.
God. Yeah, it's not looking good for our boy Bernard Pollard. But anyway, yeah.
It's way
I
too
think,
early to start talking like that, man. It's way
Yeah,
too early. Hey, and then y'all just what did y'all just say about talking about former players? Y'all hypocrites, man.
nah, but anyway,
Yeah, but anyways, yeah.
No, hold on.
That wasn't for you, D-Mac. D-Mac, that wasn't for you. That wasn't for you.
but
You know
nah,
who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about.
but he
it's
played
a
on the defense
PSA.
side of the ball though. But anyway,
Oh, okay.
I got the Bills. I got the Bills too, man. Because some reason, ever since Josh Allen decided to stop playing like a crash test dummy in Week 1, he's actually playing a lot better. And you know what else? The Bills are actually running the football, which is helping Josh Allen to not turn the ball over, to not play as reckless. So shout out to the Bills, and they beat a quality opponent in the Miami Dolphins, gave them their first loss of the year. They not only won, but they beat them down. So
Yeah.
gotta give the
But
Bills.
we know the Bills, right? Who they play next?
Oh shoot, who do they play next?
Because we know the Bills. The Bills will go out and beat a team and then promptly go out and lay an egg the next week. They've done it before.
Well,
They play the Jaguars in London next week.
That's gonna be a
Exactly.
crazy
The Jaguars
Exactly.
manager there. I have the Jaguars winning that game simply because they're already in London and they've been there for a week. I think they'll win that game. Quinn, to your point, CJ Stroud, like both him and Anthony Richardson, I think that him, Anthony Richardson, and Trevor Lawrence in that AFC South, that's gonna make that division extremely fun to watch for the foreseeable future. Because I think all three of those guys are gonna be very good quarterbacks. Shout out to Stroud, man. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback under such bad circumstances with 4 offensive linemen out and just playing still completely under poise and playing at a high level 4 games into his career like Stroud has to this point. You got to give him credit for that.
Yeah, that
They
AFC South is
creeping. They're not ready yet, though.
No,
They got a couple more years.
That's a future thing.
That AFC South is tougher than what we thought originally. I mean, everybody's 2-2 right now.
Well, that's
Somehow,
because the
someway.
Jags ain't as good as we thought so far.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah,
That's
we
true.
might have jumped the gun with it because like the thing with them right now is they not getting no pass rush.
Not
And
at all.
that could be an issue. That could be an issue down the stretch with Jacksonville. They don't get that straightened out. So,
It's funny though because nobody can figure out what the hell the Titans are because they'll just get blown out one week and come back the next week, blow somebody else out. I mean, they're just completely up and down. They got a good defense. Derrick Henry showed signs of life, but it's still Ryan
They
Tannehill.
shouldn't be putting 27 up on you though. That's
Yeah. That's for sure. And look, it is what it is. I think that entire division is going to be very fascinating this year because clearly the Texans and Colts are going to give people problems.
so. Why they don't practice inside of the stadium on the field?
Get to the sponsor. Get to the sponsor. Get to the sponsor.
country something else, man.
Get to the sponsor, man, please.
All right, it's still the same. It's still the same special today. Buy one get one 30% off NFL apparel from Homage. You still got your NFL Team Essential collection. You got your pop culture tee collection going on. See, you got some MTV shirts. Got Daria. You got South Park.
Beef
Got
and
guys.
Butthead.
So yeah, the crew next still going on. Still got your go-to collection, and then I haven't made a banner yet. I still haven't made a banner for these, but Halloween, October just arrived, so they got some Halloween stuff going on. Halloween, Friday the 13th, movie stuff. Got your throwback collection with the helmets, old school helmets, and the MLB retro logos. As the MLB postseason begins tomorrow, so
Yes, it does. I'm going to be locked in because my Cardinals are ass, so I can watch some good baseball. For the first time.
hey, listen, we're asked too. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Bobby Wood Jr. man on this incredible year. But go on, copy Segura and pay homage. But anyway, D-Mac,
Pay homage.
about the MLB. Who you got win the World Series, man?
Look, I got to say this. I think the Rays are really good. But I'm concerned about their lineup, especially as you get into postseason play. I think the Braves are just the most complete team in baseball, and I don't like the Braves, but they just got power all up and down the lineup. They got a whole bunch of really powerful arms. I got to give them to them. I think Braves are probably going to carry it this year.
Yeah, I say Braves. I say Braves too, and I don't know. I think the Baltimore Orioles might sneak out the American League.
I don't. There's no team I wanted to win more than Baltimore because I know so many Orioles fans that have been fans for a long time. It's gonna be a cool story to have them.
This is me and Boogie right now. I will say this though: playoff baseball is the best form of baseball, but I have no idea. Shout out to Zach Greinke, man. That's all I know right now.
Shout out to Zach Greinke, tip of the captain, future Hall of Famer. Shout out to Adam Wainwright for my Cardinals, who also had his last retirement. Two long-term pitchers, story
Adam
career.
Wainwright. Stop it.
He's not a Hall of Famer, but he did throw with the best curveball in MLB history to Carlos Beltran. So
Nah, go for the week, man. I think simplify the offense. Let's get Sky. Look, it's a PSA, man. I think you should go sit with Mahomes and ask them what you need to do to get more targets to get in the game. Don't do it after the game and don't say I'm open. I'm always fucking open. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Your ass will get
R.I.P.
going.
Tim Wakefield personally.
R.I.P. Tim Wakefield.
Oh, okay.
R.I.P. Tim Wakefield.
Yeah, just go to talk to Mahomes, get close, man. You know what I'm saying, and build that rapport. Whatever y'all built in Texas this year, we need that to come back. And let's just simplify quick passes, quick outs, just to get comfortable with each other. Let's get comfortable with each other. We got 4 winnable games that we can win. Let's throw it out. Let's throw the kitchen sink out there because I can't take another day like today. Today the timeline was unbearable. It was just wrong. You would have swore that we lost the game. It's just we got to get consistency and we got to get Boogie feeling better. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Get me feeling better.
But before we get up out of here, man, overreactions to week 4. Just anything.
Overreactions? Overreactions.
You said
overreaction? As far as the league. As far as the entire league. One thing that stood out.
I mean, I just keep coming back to C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson because I'm impressed. I didn't those are my top 2 quarterbacks in the NFL draft. I didn't expect them to look that good this fast. And the second thing is you can spend a whole bunch of money in free agency, but it's not always going to translate because it takes a little bit more than that. So those are my two takeaways. I'll let you know, or I'll let you guys figure out who the second one's about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I guess I'll go. All right, man. That Chargers Raiders game, that's some of the worst coaching I've seen in quite some time. It was a battle of the two dumbasses in the fourth quarter. Like literally, like who can F it up the most at the end? That's literally what it was in that fourth quarter. Like Brandon Staley, once again, he can't help himself going for it on 4th and 1 down in their own territory, man. They didn't get it. And then all of a sudden, Josh McDaniels, you get the ball near the goal line. You got 3 downs to get Josh Jacobs the rock. What do? You got Aiden O'Connell throw to the sideline, gets picked off. And on top of that, Asante Samuel really could have took that to the crib because Aiden O'Connell was the only dude in front of him, but instead he just ran the ball out of bounds. Like, it was so much stupidity in that game. Like, the AFC West is bad. That's my
Yeah.
only answer. It's extremely bad. We're going to be on that division for a minute, dog, because we seem to be the only smart organization in that division.
Yeah, I mean, things change very quickly in the NFL. I mean, obviously this time maybe 2 months ago last year, I mean, the AFC looked like it was going to be the best division in the AFC, and now you would say it's probably easily the 4th best division in the AFC, just because we dominated pretty thoroughly at this current moment in time, and everybody else looks incredibly competitive, at least multiple teams within the North, East, and South. So,
yeah.
Boogie, anything you got to take away from Week 4?
Let's see. We said that about the Chargers. I'm happy Khalil Mack didn't break Derek Thomas' record. The Raiders almost tricked us out of that.
Thank God.
I was happy about that.
The Raiders tried so bad. It was just a terrible offensive line and a rookie quarterback holding the ball. I was so scared he was going to get that record, but thank God he didn't.
I think was getting his ass whooped.
I think we one more week away from that conversation with Sport Voice. We're about one more week away. They lose to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
If they lose to the Cardinals,
I agree with that. I'm still not pressing the panic button because I think that there is an opportunity to turn it around. But you lose to Arizona.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals been competitive every game this year.
They sure have. This is not going to be an easy game for them. They are not getting out of there easily.
Orlando Brown. Yeah.
BJ Ojolari coming to hunt, man. BJ is coming to hunt. You better get your track.
And Joe Burrow, you should have listened to your wide receiver. You should have sat your ass down the first couple of weeks.
Facts.
We tried to tell you. You are hurting the team, dog. You were being selfish. You was being selfish when you decided to go out there and play, bro. Knowing your calf wasn't right, dude. Now look. And like Bobby Stru said, it's harder to do it without 3 number 1 wide receivers.
Now you got one. See what you can do.
God bless you.
And he's open. He's open right now. He's open.
Always open.
He's always open. He like 7-11.
You got anything?
Hey, what Coach 30 be saying? He's just like your mama. Oh.
That being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share all your social media platforms. Until the next episode, we out of here.
Just like your mama.
Just like your mama.